Hello, good morning everyone. We are going to see about the analog modulation unit 1 for communication engineering, the continuation part. The outline of this presentation is, first we are going to see about the AM receiver, next automatic gain control, and the third one is single sideband suppressed carrier modulation. The last one is SSC generation. AM receiver. The AM receiver is of two types. They are tuned radio frequency receiver and super heterodyne receiver. First we are going to see about the tuned radio frequency receiver. It consists of 2 or 3 stages of tuned RF amplifiers and detector and audio amplifiers. The RF amplifier is simply tuned to required signal. It is then filtered and amplify the received AM signal and pass it to the detector stage. The detector will obtain the modulating signal to high power levels and derive the speaker. Next, we are going to see about the advantages of tuned radio frequency receiver. The TRF receivers are very simple to implement and it have high sensitivity. The main disadvantage is it is useful to single channel low frequency applications and the gain of the receiver is not uniform over the wide frequency range. Next we are going to see about the super heterodyne receiver. The super heterodyne receiver converts all the incoming radio frequencies to a fixed lower frequency called intermediate frequency. This intermediate frequency is then amplified and detected to get the original signal. So this block diagram shows the super heterodyne receiver. The antenna will receive all the frequency signals and give it to the RF amplifier. The RF stage amplifies the signals in the required range of frequencies. Then it provides the initial gain and selectivity. The output of the RF amplifier is given to the mixer stage. Okay. Next, the local oscillator output is also applied to the mixer. Let us assume that the local oscillator frequency is F0 and the signal frequency is Fs. So the signal frequency Fs and local oscillator frequency F0 are mixed in the mixer and that will provide the frequency difference as F0 minus Fs in the output of the mixer. This difference F0 minus Fs is called as the intermediate frequency. So it is applied to the IF amplifier at the same modulation as the incoming signal. The IF is amplified by one or more IF amplifier stages and given to the detector. So the most of the gain and selectivity is provided by these IF amplifiers only. Okay, IF is fixed for the AM receivers. To select a particular station, the local oscillator frequency F0 is changed in such a way that the frequency Fs of the station and F0 has difference equal to IF. So hence the bandwidth of the IF amplifier is relatively narrow. This is called the automatic gain control or AGC. This AGC will maintain the constant output voltage level over the wide range of RF input signal levels. So the detector will obtain the modulating signal from the modulated IF. The output of the detector is amplified and it is given to the speaker. Okay. So next, the advantages of the super heterodyne receiver is selectivity of the receiver is better since IF amplifiers are narrow band. The next one is the design of the IF amplifier is relatively simple when they operate only at the IF. Okay. Output irrespective constant of the increase of the decrease in the signal level at the input of the receiver. So the AGC circuit takes part of the defected signal and it derives a DC control voltage for the RF mixture and IF stages. So here there are two types of automatic gain control. They are simple AGC and another one is delayed AGC. Okay, so simple AGC, it means the gain control is active at the low output levels. So the low AGC voltage will decrease the overall gain and it will reduce the sensitivity of the receiver. Okay, so in this characteristics we can see that the difference in the characteristics due to no AGC and simple AGC. So at the low input signals, the output of the receiver is low compared to the no AGC. Okay, this is known as the simple AGC. What is delayed AGC? It will prevent the feedback voltage from the reaching the RF and IF amplifier until the RF level exceeds the predetermined magnitude. So the AGC bias is not applied till the output signal reaches the level. Okay, so AGC bias is applied and gain is reduced so that the output voltage remains at the predetermined level. So this delayed AGC is very close to that of the ideal AGC. So all of the receivers use delayed AGC only. So next we are going to see about the single sideband suppressed carrier modulation. Okay, in this modulation only the upper or lower sideband is transmitted for generating the SSP modulated wave. So we must meet three basic requirements. What are all they means? The first one is the desired sideband will lies inside the passband of the filter. The second one is the unwanted sidebands are lies inside the stopband of the filter. And the third one is the filter transition band, which will separate the passband from stopband and is twice the lowest frequency component of message signal. Okay, this is the lowest sideband frequency and the carrier will be suppressed and the upper sideband frequency will be transmitted. Any one of the sideband frequencies will be transmit the signals. Okay, so these single sideband suppressed carrier modulation are of three types. They are filter method, phase shift method and the modified phase shift method or Weaver method. So let me see one by one. So first we are going to see about the filter method. So the filter may be LC, crystal or mechanical. Okay, the main circuits are balance modulator and filter. So in this DSB signals, the contains both the sidebands and it is given to the sideband suppression filter to remove the unwanted sidebands. Okay, so the filter must have flat passband and extremely high attenuation outside the passband. In order to have this type of response, the Q of the tuned circuits must be very high. So first we have to require the value of the Q factor and it will increase the difference between the modulating frequency as well as the carrier frequency. Okay, so here the filter will contains the conditions for two conditions. They are it must have a flat passband and it has a high attenuation outside the passband. The next one is balanced modulator. So balanced modulators are mostly used for to suppress the unwanted carriers in the AM wave. Okay, so next we have used the balanced mixer. Okay, in this balanced mixer, the filters will maximize the operating frequency below the usual transmitting frequency level. So in this mixer, the frequency of the crystal oscillator is added to the SSP signal from the filter. Then it will raise the values for the transmission purposes. Okay, so the frequency is boosted up to the transmitter frequency by balanced mixer and as well as crystal oscillator. So this process is frequency boosting is also called as the up conversion. Okay, so the SSP signal having the frequency equal to the transmitting frequency, then it is amplified by the linear amplifiers. Okay, so the main advantage of the phase shift, main advantage of the filter method is bandwidth is sufficiently flat and it is wide. And the main disadvantage is it is very bulky, and the main drawback is it is the inability to generate the SSB at the radio frequencies. Okay, next we are going to see about the phase shift method. Okay, so in this block diagram, the carrier signal is shifted by 90 degree and it is applied to the balanced modulator M1. So the modulating signal is directly applied to the balanced modulator. Okay, the carrier signal is directly applied to the balanced modulator M2. So the modulating signal is phase shifted by 90 degree and applied to the balanced modulator M2. So both the modulators will produce the output consisting of only one sideband. That is, the upper balanced modulator is M1 and it will generate the upper sideband and lower sideband, but each one is shifted by plus 90 degree. So the lower balanced modulator M2 will generate upper and lower sidebands, but the upper sideband is shifted by plus 90 degree, whereas the lower sideband is shifted by minus 90 degree. Okay, so the upper sideband of both the modulators are phase shifted by plus 90 degree. So they are in the phase and added to the produced double amplitude signals. So this will provide plus 90 degree, minus 90 degree, total 180 degree out of phase, and it will cancel each other. Okay, so let us see the mathematical explanation of the phase shift method. So output of the BM1 and output of BM2 are only sidebands. So let AF signal be V2 equal to EM sin omega MT. So V1 is EC sin omega CT. So the input to the BM1 are EM sin omega MT and EC sin omega CT plus 90 degree. Okay, because it is phase shifted of 90 degree. So next, the output of BM1 is EM EC sin omega MT into cos omega CT. So total is EM EC by 2 into sin omega C plus omega M into T minus sin omega C minus omega M into T. It is denoted as first equation. So likewise we have to find out for output of BM2. So EM EC sin omega CT cos omega MT. That is EM EC by 2 sin omega C plus omega M into T plus sin omega C minus omega M into T. This will be denoted as equation 2. So now we have to get the output of the adder. We have to add first equation as well as the second equation. So we will receive the output as EM EC sin omega M plus omega C into T. That is the SSB SC generation. Okay. So next we are going to see about the modified phase shift method, or it will be known as Weaver's method. Okay. The modified phase shift method will overcome the limitations of the phase shift method. This method will provide the RF and AF oscillator phase shift, and it is also used in the low frequency. So it can be used for both the audio and radio frequencies. So this will be some modified method of the phase shift method. So the same process whatever else used in the phase shift method is here also they have used, but here we have used the two low pass filters for filtering the signal levels, and also we have used the 4 BM methods. After that at last we will add all the signals together and it will provide the SSB SC AM signal. Okay. So the equation is the output of BM1 is equal to EM EC sin omega MT cos omega CT, that is EM E0 by 2 sin omega naught plus omega M into T plus sin omega naught minus omega M into T. That is the output of BM2 is EM E0 sin omega MT sin omega naught T. So EM E0 by 2 into cos omega naught minus omega M into T minus cos omega naught plus omega M into T. So we have passed the output of BM1 to low pass filter. So the high frequency component is filtered out. So output of the LPF1 is EM E0 by 2 sin omega naught minus omega into T. So the output of the LPF2 is Em E naught by 2 cos omega naught minus omega m into t. So the total output of the BM3 is Em EC E naught by 2 sin omega ct sin omega naught minus omega m into t. Output of the BM4 is Em EC E naught by 2 sin cos omega ct cos omega naught minus omega m into t. So now we have to add all the outputs, so that we will receive Em E naught EC by 2 sin omega ct sin omega naught minus omega m into t plus cos omega ct cos omega naught minus omega m into t. So here we will receive Em E naught EC by 2 cos omega ct minus omega naught t plus omega m t. So this is the finalized equation of the modified phase shift method.